What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about 5 things that guys respect and how to get respect from men. I meet a lot of women that say they have trouble getting taken seriously by guys. A lot of them even have trouble getting basic respect, right? Basic decency. Guy might not respect your thoughts, or your mind, or even your body or your boundaries. When I meet these women, I often ask them about the habits and the behaviors that they exhibit around the men that they like. Most of the time, they've made some concessions in what they would normally do for guys that they like, that they would not do for guys that they're not attracted to or that they don't like. Making those concessions and those exceptions in your conduct with certain men simply because you like them starts to lead to a guy measuring you to be something that you might not be. He starts to judge you for the type of person you appear to be rather than the type of person you might be. And he's not necessarily wrong to do this because you are exhibiting behaviors that give him an idea of what you would accept from him. People in general, but guys specifically, start to respect you based upon what they believe you offer to the world and you offer to yourself. They also respect you based on how you allow people to treat you and how you present yourself. If you presented yourself to be way too lenient, way too fluid in what you would accept and what you would require from people in friendships and relationships, even in a professional setting, some people will hold that against you. When a man imagines you as his woman, he wants to imagine you as strong and capable of taking care of yourself. He doesn't want to imagine you as someone who needs to be told exactly what to do in every situation, or someone who would accept someone treating her badly that he would then have to do something about all the time. He doesn't want to imagine you as someone who would allow another man to encroach upon her boundaries and upon his standards. A man wants to know that if somebody goes too far with you and you're their woman, you're going to put the brakes on it, you're going to stop them, you're going to put a wall up. A lot of times a man's sense of security in a relationship has so much more to do with the boundaries that his woman sets, that if he notices you don't have boundaries or have standards for the men you encounter that aren't your man, he may not trust you or your ability to be a faithful spouse. So with that said, the first thing that might garner a man's respect from the very beginning is you exhibiting healthy boundaries. So many women, again, put down their boundaries when they like a guy. The problem is he can't tell if that's something that you're doing for him or if that's something that you just do for all men. If you appear to let men mishandle you, then he won't trust you as his spouse or his woman. Nobody wants their woman getting felt on, touched on, talked down to by other men when she's away from them. He has to be able to trust your conduct with men when he's not around. And if he can't, he'll either worry or become insecure because he doesn't think that you'll stop a guy who's going too far. When you show a guy healthy boundaries, while it might make things more difficult for him to move forward with you, while it might make things harder for him to, experience new things with you or get access to you, he can respect it because he knows that you don't take yourself too lightly and that you're going to require work and respect from anybody you encounter. That puts him in rare company. Guys want to feel like they're with someone who's rare and special, or with someone who requires you to be rare and special. Guys measure themselves up against other guys a lot, and if it doesn't appear that you need to be a decent enough man or a quality person to get close to you, then the guy will assume that you're letting any guy, no matter how stupid he is, no matter how irresponsible he is, no matter how disrespectful he is, he'll imagine that if he's gotten that close to you that quickly without somehow earning his time with you, then another man has done it the same. If you've given yourself and your time and your attention easily enough to him, he'll assume that other guys have not had to pass through very many walls to get to you. And unfortunately enough, again, that makes you look like an unsecured door with no locks. Men want to know that their women are going to have it locked down when they're away from them. And so that starts with every interaction that you have when a guy's getting to know you, even from the very beginning. He needs to see that you keep control of the pace. You need to show that you have healthy boundaries, even if that means correcting him. He'll respect you in the long run for it, and he'll trust you more if the relationship progresses. With that said, the second thing that guys have a lot of respect for when they observe it in women is self-control. All too often, women allow the guy to control what happens and how things go and how things proceed once she starts to like him. A woman who lacks self-control cannot be trusted. She cannot be trusted around her friends. She cannot be trusted around other men specifically. And guys, when they do like you, are very territorial. They want to make sure that they're the only one that has a certain level of access to you. And if you don't appear to have self-control, if you appear to let other people tell you what to do, other people decide how far you go with things, or other people decide what you think or what you participate in, it can make you seem untrustworthy, and it can also make you seem very dependent on other people. And no one really respects someone who's dependent on other people. You have to be in control of you. A lot of women get too drunk, too high. A lot of women indulge in too many substances and fall down drunk by the end of the night, and they get embarrassed and they have shame about that. But a guy's observing all of that stuff. We see when you're out of control, when you're not keeping yourself in line, when you're not watching your own conduct, when you have no standards for yourself, when you allow other people to decide how far you go doing anything, when you can be peer pressured into stuff. We see that. And the more control a woman relinquishes of herself to the others around her, the less respect she'll get from a guy. So many women talk about they want a guy who can handle them. But guys don't want to handle you. We want you to handle your damn self. We want you to have self-control. They want women who are poised, who carry themselves well, who they can respect and who they can trust will keep things under control when she's away from him. So with that said, the third thing that men respect when they observe it in women is emotional independence. All too often I meet women who decide that they're into a man, and all of a sudden how they feel depends on how he's treated them that day, whether or not they've talked to him, whether or not he's called or he's texted. Too many women have let the world decide and let men decide how they feel about themselves and how they feel about their lives. From minute to minute, some people are so dependent on what's going on around them, or if someone spoke to them, or how they're being treated by a particular person, that they never really decide how they feel or how they're going to live their day or live their lives. Emotional independence is so important because a guy doesn't want to be the sole reason you're either happy or sad or depressed or excited. He wants to be a part of that. He wants to be in there somewhere, but he definitely doesn't want to be the cause of all of your emotions, your core emotions. He doesn't want that level of responsibility. And it's not really fair to place that level of responsibility on anything or anyone around you. I always tell my clients to set their intention for the day. So when I wake up, I decide what kind of mood I'm going to be in. I choose a thought. I choose something to motivate me. I choose something to meditate on that will put me in a particular mood. I choose my intention, whether that's happiness, gratitude, excitement, or ambition, or any of the other positive emotions. And I choose a thought that I can meditate on that gives me that emotion very powerfully, very effectively. If you have trouble being emotionally independent, you need to pick up meditation as a hobby and stop letting other people and other energies decide what your energy is for the day and what that represents. When a guy understands that he doesn't necessarily dictate how you feel and how you see yourself emotionally and how you relate to the world, he's more likely to respect your mind and do his part to put a smile on your face because he knows he's not responsible for it. He knows it's just a bonus. It's not pressure. It's not obligation at that point. It's a pleasure. Moving on, the fourth things that guys really respect when they observe it in a woman, the fourth way to get a guy's respect is displaying a sense of self-preservation. A strong sense of self-preservation is very attractive to a man because, again, he wants to know that his woman will be okay when she's away from him. Men have a very intense urge to provide for, but also to protect their women. Part of that urge is hoping and praying and wishing that she would also be able to protect herself if he's not in the position to do so. Men observe a woman's sense of self-preservation through the decisions she makes with him, especially in the first couple of times they meet each other. He understands he's a stranger. He understands he shouldn't be trusted. He's watching to make sure that you're not being reckless with him. As a stranger, he understands that he's supposed to have a limited access to you. As a stranger, he's observing how drunk you get, how high you get, how far you go. Whether or not he controls the tempo or you control the tempo, whether or not you have healthy boundaries, whether or not you're doing all the things that show that you're trying to preserve not only your life, but your experience in life. Some women don't protect themselves, and that scares men. While he might have a good time with you, he would never trust you out with your girlfriends. While he might have a good time with you, he can't assume that that didn't happen with every date. He can't assume that he got that access to you or you were that reckless around him because he's special. He's going to feel like, okay, this is just what she does. She throws caution to the wind. I'm just another one. You don't want a guy to feel like that, but you also want to be protecting yourself in real life. Legit, you just want to be protecting yourself. So people, guys specifically, always respect a woman who has a self-preservation instinct that she doesn't put down simply because a guy is cute or you're having a good time at dinner. If they're measuring you for a relationship, they want to know that they're getting a woman who takes care of herself and knows how to handle herself. And if you don't appear to know how to handle yourself and you don't appear to care about caution or safety or any of those things, they're not going to go very far with you, and they're not going to want to take it to the next level because you appear to be lackadaisical in the way you approach your own safety. With that said, the last thing that guys really respect when they observe in a woman is self-prioritization. Self-prioritization is probably not a phrase, but I'm using it here, right? To prioritize oneself. A lot of women start to like a guy, and no matter what happens, no matter what he does, no matter what he asks them for, they give. They start to prioritize this guy or this crush or this relationship over their own health, over their own safety, over their own life, over their own goals, dreams, and ambitions. They throw caution to the wind because they're obviously not, don't have a strong sense of self-preservation, but they also don't prioritize themselves and their safety or the result of their lives anyway. So they start to do whatever it takes for this guy, whatever it takes to keep this guy around, and they don't prioritize themselves. If you're not taking care of you and I'm not taking care of you, who's taking care of you? Right? If I'm your man, or if I want to be your man, I want to make sure that you're always going to be in a healthy place mentally, right? But if you're so worried about what I got going on and you're not growing, you're not evolving, you're not getting to your goals and dreams and ambitions, I start to become your life. If you don't know how to prioritize self, you make your partner your life, right? And that's too much responsibility to place on anyone's shoulders. People who prioritize themselves are better friends, are better lovers, are better family members because they're always healthy enough, because they take care of themselves. They're always healthy enough to give more to those relationships and offer more. They're more whole and more complete. It's not about not caring about your partner or what their needs are. It's not about not doing for others. It's just about making sure you take care of yourself. It's funny, oftentimes a subscriber might write me and say, hey Kev, I'm just checking on you, making sure you're taking care of yourself. Make sure you take enough time for yourself. Make sure you give it enough meditation time. Make sure you get enough peace. Make sure you don't run yourself raggedy trying to answer all of our questions. Make sure you don't do this and that. Make sure you're enjoying life and you're in a healthy place emotionally and mentally. Right? I have clients and I have subscribers that always check on me to make sure I'm prioritizing me. Just like they care about me and the result of my life, my mental health, my energy levels, whether or not I'm disenchanted. Your man, the guy who you're dating, is supposed to care about that same thing for you. He's going to want you to prioritize you and take care of you. If he doesn't seem to care about you prioritizing yourself, he does not want you, he does not care about you. He's looking for an employee and a servant, not a woman who's strong and independent from him. One of the biggest red flags that you can ever find in a guy is a guy who doesn't want you to prioritize you because he wants to be your priority. That's a huge red flag because most real men want their women to be whole and strong and ready. So we need them to prioritize themselves, to do whatever it takes for them to maintain their happiness. That way they can come to us, a whole person, and we don't have a tumultuous, toxic, codependent relationship. Anyway, I think I've said enough. Follow me at KevHick24 on Instagram. If you need a consultation, go to girltalkwithguys.com. I'll be uploading some more bonus videos for my channel members pretty soon, so stay on the lookout for that. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll get with y'all later.